everybody. So, if you're watching this or if you're listening to this, then you know that we have been off for about a year from Table Talk, but we've been very, very busy. I said that last time. We've been very, very busy with production, but this is the year. You know, I hate to sound like a Cowboys fan, but this is our year that we're gonna be more consistent with Table Talk. So, Happy New Year, first of all, and I want to bring on a guy who a lot of you may know in the community. He's done like a lot of work, just very, very active. I'm very honored to have him as the first guest kicking back off the relaunch of Table Talk, if you will. Mr. Chad, the Goodfella. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed, man. How about you?
I can't complain, man. I mean, you know, we in a brand new year. It's been some shakeups all around, like society-wise,
Starting off strong, huh?
Political wise, I mean, it's shakeups all around, you know, just in our little ecosystem. So, but personally, I think I'm okay. So, I wanted to have you on because, first of all, I think that there's a much need for dialogue with people such as yourself who are boots on the ground, who are right there in the community daily, doing tangible work daily. So before we kick into everything that you do, first, give us just a little background about you, Chad the Goodfella.
So I'm from Zion City, Glen Oaks area. Born and raised in Baton Rouge. As you can see, I come from a troubled past. Like I come from a real troubled past. Didn't understand my past at the time I was going through it, that it was going to lead to a greater purpose. Went to jail at 14 for manslaughter. You know, same old story as these youngsters going through right now. In and out of trouble, in and out of jail. Just come from a 2-parent household. You know, great parents. We just, you know, they just taught me the best that they knew how. You know, we come from a very violent background, violent family, violent just teachings, you know, but that was all we knew to survive, you know. Like I tell people sometimes, people don't realize that that's what we was taught. So if that's the environment we was put in, right. We want to blame everything on everything else, but don't nobody want to address the community of the teachings of the community. You know, right? So 7th grade dropout, you know, never made it to high school, not a public high school. Man, just a rough background, you know what I'm saying? Like anything you can name under the sun besides beating women, raping children, and stealing and stuff, I done it, you know. Right. I gotta say that, you know what I'm saying?
Because there is a difference. There's a big difference.
Yeah, you know, just the street things, you know, I would say the difference is a lot that I really didn't know that I was operating in chaos. You know, because like I say, that was my grooming. You know, my dad had come from a gangster background, all my role models. My uncle, who I looked up to, he died in Angola, 26 years for double murder. I grew up in Angola because we went visit him every week, you know. So, I mean, when I came up, I never dreamed of being a football player, basketball player. I knew at a young age I was gonna be a gangster. You know, that's what I wanted to do. My mind was set on it. I could go back to being 10, 11 years old, chopping up baby powder in my mom and them bathroom, acting like it was cocaine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know.
So what was the shift? Because, you know, growing up in that environment, in that atmosphere with that mindset, what do you feel, or not even feel, but what was the shift for you as far as changing lanes?
Being introduced to those lanes. You know, like, we kind of like stayed in our only area, like Zion City and Glen Oaks is kind of like their only family, right?
Right.
And, I mean, that's all I was introduced around. You know, I got a saying like this. So my son, he 12 years old, right? So he has to go to college. If he want to get his trust fund, if he want to get everything set for him, he got to go to college because it's going to change his surroundings, right?
Right.
Because all I grew up around was killers, drug dealers, gangsters, etc. You know, all the toxic things that we glorify, but it's not really nothing to glorify. But if that's what you're around, you got to understand it's a group of everything. So the reason why I say my son has to go to college, not for educational reasons, for social reasons. You know, now I'm older, and the transformation of trying to do right is you ain't got no friends that's doing right. You know, I had to change all my friends because I didn't know bankers. I didn't know real estate people. I didn't know stock people in stocks. I didn't know all these judges, lawyers, doctors, nurses. You know, I didn't grow up with these people. But if my son go to college, who you think his friends gonna liable to be? And he gonna be, you know, doctors, lawyers,
right,
you know, successful people, you know, and he gonna have history of growing up with them people. When I go to these parties and stuff, a lot of these people, these rooms I'm in, they got relationships from 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, and I'm just building them. So it's the fact of where I wanted to change my life at when I knew better. You know what I'm saying? When I started seeing different, when I started going outside of my environment and like, man, wait a minute. You mean to tell me this what real peace is? Because I was operating in chaos, but I didn't know it was chaos.
It was normal.
That was just normal to me. It was normal to wake up and somebody dead, or your friend just killed somebody, or your friend got killed, or your auntie or uncle just died off of dope, or you selling dope. You know, that's who we glorify in the hood. The killers get the most respect in the hood. Killers and drug dealers. When really, all in all, we just destroying our community. But we respected for that. You know, we respected for that. You knew that this guy down the street was a stone cold killer. Ain't nobody play with him. So you want that respect. So that's why you picked that gun up.
So what was the moment of the introduction of changing, though? Because I know you said that, you know, you were introduced to it, but what introduced you to that change and that shift in mindset?
I started trying to really find myself when my child was born. You know, and I didn't find myself then, but I started trying to.
Right.
You know, I when I held my child, like I never really value the value of human life never really meant nothing to me.
Connected.
So when I had my own child and I held him, and you realize, man, I didn't know how to love him like that. You know, I knew how to love in a harder way. Like my daddy loved me. I grew up under a healthy relationship. They were just street, but they still honored each other. My mom and daddy never fought, beat each other up. None of that. It was just street ways. But just holding my child and understanding like what to do with this, like, you know, and not being able to love your child, because I'm like, why should I get attached to something that I might not even live to see grow?
Right.
So for the longest, my parents assisted me a lot. I used to try to put my child off on my mom and daddy in case I died, to where like my child wouldn't hurt too much. Because I was still living. Like for the first few years of my child life, my child didn't ride in the car with me like that. I got somebody to follow me to Chuck E. Cheese or follow me to places and stuff like that, because I never wanted my child to die because of something I did.
Right. So the shift happened at that moment. So where did you, and for people who are watching this now, you know, clearly, you know, you've left that life behind.
Yeah, my child 12.
So what are you entrenched in now as far as just, you know, your day to day?
Well, my day to day, I work with I do what they call CVI work. It's called Crime, Violence, Intervention, and Prevention. I mean, not crime, community violence, intervention, and prevention.
Okay.
So it's a work where it's like, they understand like the government and stuff like that understand that you can't police your way out of this. So they decided to give the community the resources to help the community, right? So I work with high risk and at risk youth.
Okay.
That mean teenagers and I call them young adults, 21, 22, 23 years old, who is either a victim of gun violence or a perpetrator of gun violence, which mean they either been shot before or they either
Been shooting.
You know. But I mostly work with a lot of the shooters because that's my story. We can relate.
Right.
So.
And who better for them to relate and connect with than someone who can identify with them in their day-to-day.
Right.
Because this is a life that you've lived.
Right.
But you can also tell them these are the perils of that life. This is, you know, you don't want to continue going down that route. And you can use yourself as an example saying, you know, I made it out, you know, I ain't gonna say unscathed because I don't know everything that you...
And that's why they respect me because
right.
you got somebody who, you know, I lead with my story and tell them my story. And once they understand, like, man, okay, so you been in and out of jail for multiple murders your whole life. Okay, if you say stop it, then I'm going to listen because, you know, basically...
It's completely different if I go in there and say, hey, y'all need to be doing this.
Right.
And I didn't grow up in that environment. I didn't, you know...
They gonna be like,
I didn't
who is you?
Exactly. I'm looked at as an interloper
right.
at that point.
Right. They're going to be like, who is you to tell me what's going on?
And the respect level is not there either.
Yeah.
It'll be all the same if I went in trying to tell professional basketball players, hey, y'all should act like this on the court.
Right.
I ain't never played professional basketball, so
right.
how am I supposed to communicate with them? So it does take someone who has done that to try to change their trajectory. So first of all,
like
that needs to be applauded.
Right. Because we being out influenced. You know, you see the rappers with the big diamond chains and the fancy cars and the beautiful women and this and that and everybody, the drug dealers, you know, like, you know, even when growing up, I wanted to sell drugs because that's all I seen was drug dealers. They had the nice stuff, you know. So it's like, basically, we go in our own communities and we use our own influence for good.
Right.
I could have used it for bad because I'm still relevant in my community. I never left Zion City. I never left Glen Oaks. I never left Baton Rouge. And a lot of people know my story. Mm. You know, so it's just deciding to be like, I didn't decide it. First of all, this was God's purpose. I was called to the work. Right. I was actually forced into work. I'm going to be honest with you. That's why so many resources been opening up for me because the work was just like, God, I guess God was just like, hey, this what you gonna do. Don't question me. And if you ever question me, I'm gonna make everything fail because I fought it for a long time.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to give it up, you know, because it was out, you know.
Well, that's what you were used to.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people say that they at times run from their purpose. You know, you have people who are, you know, leaders in whatever that they're doing. But they ran from that because, you know, maybe they were, you know, they had a sense of fear, like, well, you know, what if it doesn't work out, anything like that. But if it's your purpose, you got to go with it.
Vulnerability is scary.
It is.
You know,
very much is.
You know, and just being out there to tell people, you know, because it's a hard thing to tell a kid who capable of killing and have killed before. Man, leave that alone. When that's just what they know. You know, that's just what they know. That gun gives them power.
So what's your approach as far as getting through to them? And do you feel like you've had like a good success rate with getting through to them to try to, you know, change their mindset as well?
Man, I just pull up on them. Like, you know, I just pull up on them. Like, you know, being attached to the community, a lot of people trust you. So it's the trust of the community.
Right.
So you got a lot of people be like I done had drug dealers like, man, come get these little dudes from in front of my click house. You know, I want them to do better. You know, they want them to be better. And I pull up. Like, I'm pulling up, man, let me talk to y'all. And then you got other guys that influence a community, introduce you to them too. Or sometimes, like when we on the crime scenes, so we go visit a lot of murder scenes too. And then you got the mothers out there. We do a lot for the mothers of victims whose sons been killed. And they have sons, right? Mm-hmm. Other sons. And you know it's about to be a retaliation.
Right.
So
Domino effect.
get the mother to say, hey, let me save at least one of your sons. I couldn't save the one that I just, met because he's dead. I didn't meet him, but he's dead. But let me save the one right now. And she'll be like, hey, Mr. Chad or Chad gonna help you this and that. Some of them don't listen because they reacting off of feelings. But for the most part, man, your success, I say my success rate probably, man, I never even calculate, But it's, to me, if you save one kid, that's one murder you didn't stop. And that's power.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's power in saving 2 lives. Because one going to jail and one dead.
Right.
So to me, I would say that's 100% the power of saving one life.
Yeah.
Because, these kids, they run around with machine guns.
Yeah.
We just watched a scene where an 8-year-old was killed, children was killed. That was from probably 1 or 2 guns. That was, 40, 50 rounds on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
So, with me, I feel like it's 100% success rate. Because I got several kids that I mentor that got it in them. They not faking. That's what they would like to do.
Yeah.
But you introduce them to a way out, and bro, they just turn on and they just be so powerful.
So what's the way out that you present to them? That you say, hey, look, I know you're doing this over here. I did it too, but this is something different, and it's something that you can appreciate more. Like how do you help turn the page with them?
So and I got a team, I got a team we call Peace Brokers.
Okay.
It's a lot of us. So we assess the situation. We meet every day. We meet. I let them know I got this teenager, but we don't disclose the names because they ours, right? You know, and we assess what they need, their resources, and we give them resources. We got partnerships with business owners. I got partnerships with other nonprofits from other cities. So if I got a kid and it's just too far gone for him, he in the middle of a big wall. We all heard of a lot of these walls and stuff like that. So I might call one of my homeboys in another city or state. Man, I got to get this kid out of here. And we get him out of here. We provide him with a few dollars, stuff like that. And then we got some kids, they just need to be in school. They just need a job. Like just different type of, some of them just need a therapist. We got therapists that we provide resources that we pay for too. We do rental assistance for mothers. Move them up out their neighborhood. Maybe they just need to go to another neighborhood like Gonzales or Prairieville. Or, just it's different. Like the thing is, every kid got a different need.
Right.
So we decide on what's his needs and then we attack that. And some of them just talking to him every day. Some of them resist me. Some of them don't want my help, but I still do relentless outreach. They see me pull up on them. What you doing? Oh, Mr. Chad, man, why you over here messing with me today, man? Come talk to me, bro. What's up?
Yeah. And
you just work with him. You work with him. And then one day you gonna get that phone call. Man, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna kill this nigga tonight. Right. Man, where you at, man? Let me talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And then you build that trust because they don't trust nobody.
Right.
Look, a lot of these kids, bro, they got their own traumas. They mamas on drugs, or they mamas done checked out on them. They don't know they dad is on drugs, and they daddy raising them too, or they just, they got problems. They don't know what love is in the streets. Embrace them so they feel like the streets love them. Even though that love leading them down a self-destruction road, they still feel like they homies love them, which they homies do love them. They not roboting them because they in the war with them, but that's all they have.
Right.
Sometimes they need a guy like you to pull up and be like, man, I'm a successful entrepreneur. Let me show you how I did it. And that's what I do. I provide a way out. I provide a resource. And when we go mediate these wars, because I go talk to 2 different sides. And sometimes it's just a big miscommunication.
Right.
And I consider me being the voice of reasoning for them. Because they going to keep warring.
Right.
And they just need somebody with credible street critic or something like that
They
to
can
say,
come
man,
in
what
and
y'all doing?
right.
Like, think about what y'all doing. Sometimes you talk to these cliques, and they never had a real argument. They never really engaged. It was cause, well, why y'all going to war? Well, he told a female that I was pussy and such and such and all that. Man, you never even met this dude. You know, it's
You
just
you
bad
just going off of
communication, bro.
hearsay and
A lot of wars have started off of feelings, egos, and miscommunication. And if you're in the street, you realize that and you know that. Like me growing up in life, I watched so many guys lose their life and go to jail behind a bad miscommunication.
Right.
That could have been talked out.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to touch on briefly is you offer tangible solutions or tangible things to help in that. You mentioned, moving them out of that particular neighborhood, or connecting them with with companies that can give them a job, making sure they go to school. These are tangible things. So at the beginning of this, and mental health therapy. At the beginning of this, I said, that you were very boots on the ground. So I'm glad that you were able to expound on that. So, because we hear the term boots on the ground, but no one really knows exactly what that means in these different scenarios. So the fact that you can give these tangible things as, no, this is an everyday thing where, it might just be as simple as pulling up on them saying, hey, did you go to school today? Or making sure that they're on their way to school and they staying in school. Or like you said, some of them just might be a simple conversation every day, just keeping in contact with them so they can see that level of consistency. Some of them, they need to be relocated from that neighborhood to another neighborhood. But these are tangible things. So that's I do want to say that I appreciate you expounding on what boots on the ground really means.
And when I mean boots on the ground, like I'm in the middle of this battlefield. I'm here. Right. I done been right there in the neighborhood when one of my youths got killed down the street. I'm here. I'm first on the scene sometimes. We responding. We not just talking about what these kids need from a safe place. I'm here. Right. My life on the line. My life on the line. One of these kids could do anything. I could be with one of these kids and something jump off.
It could be a stray bullet, anything.
Yeah, like, so that's when I say boots on the ground. Like, I be upset with a lot of these people when I go to these meetings and stuff. And they trying to talk about what the community need. Like, you ever sat in the room and you heard somebody talk about what your company need, and you be like,
I don't even know who you are.
What book you read that from? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I need,
Right. And so you bring up community meetings and everything too. So recently, you had a lot to say online, and I wanted to make sure that we have a more in-depth conversation about what you were upset about, and just speaking with you just now, even just about, just again, after you expounded about what boots on the ground really means and how it is vital to talk to people who are right there every day in the community. And like you said, your life is on the line. A lot of the times, if you going out in there talking to youth, you're in the middle of basically a war zone. You could catch a stray bullet. So these are things that I understand why you take it so seriously. There was a recent community meeting, and you had a lot to say about that. The councilman Hurst got up and was talking about. I wasn't there, but give me a little background about that community meeting and what you feel came about from that.
Well, he got up there and he just flat out manipulated his people for his own purpose. Mm-hmm. So what he trying to get, which is very unethical, he trying to get his own funding for some program that he want to do for CVI work.
So he hasn't consulted with people such as yourself, like someone who is boots on the ground.
We gave him a chance when Darryl Hurst came into the first got on. Me and him had a meeting, and I introduced him. I'm the one introduced him to Mad Marvin. Mm-hmm. When everybody was like showing off Mad Marvin and highlighting his work of him in the community, because he do a lot in the community. Marvin is one of those guys who's changing, but he's changing people while he's changing. Right. That's why I salute him. So, man, dude just flat out lied in the community meeting to try to get the funders and people to go with his program. and just discredit everything we have done. But the bad part is he used our data to try to, and took credit for it. He was like, ever since I started this LIV program, which was a program Mad Marvin started.
Right.
And I'll tell you what the LIV program is, and you will understand why Darryl Hurst could never start a LIV program. So the LIV program was to get the youth and adults to go to vocational school, but they can't go because it will put the public in danger, because they might have got hits on their head, or they might have some other stuff. So the program was a cop escort them from Zion City Gym to BRCC 2 or 3 days a week, something like that, and they escort them back to their home safely. So that way they got a safe way to go to school, get an education, and come back. That's what the LIV program, which it lasted 5 or 6 weeks, which he counseled because he was mad.
So Councilman Hurst canceled the program.
Councilman Hurst he canceled that program. While he sat up there and tried to make it like the program got canceled, which he canceled it because he was in his feelings, because Marvin went to jail. Marvin went to jail for some bogus charge that was thrown out, right? And he canceled the program and didn't ever start it back up, which he came to a meeting in the Zion City community and lied and said, this was about almost a year ago. Oh, the LIV program gonna start again. Never started again, And for him to get up there in that meeting and just take credit for some work that you played no part in. Like, this man is so self-centered that, like, if it don't revolve around the Darryl Hurst show, he don't want to be involved. Like, he don't want to be involved.
So that's definitely not serving the community if it's just serving your own purpose.
He serve himself. And you can't serve a community from the Charles Kelly Center. The Charles Kelly Center is not boots on the ground. That's you doing what you're doing in your little safe haven. Zion City ain't the Charles Kelly Center.
Right.
Zion City is Dixie.
But Zion City is still in his district, correct?
District 5.
Right.
Zion City, Glen Oaks. You ride through there. Ain't no hope in there. And we tried to partner with him, but if he can't take the credit for something, he don't want to deal with it. Guys like that, man, what I be wanting the public to understand, we put them in these offices.
Right.
And what I hate about Baton Rouge is people like that and a lot of these guys get in these positions and we treat them like celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Like they want you to kiss their ass or come to them.
Right.
No, we voted you in there. You was put in this position to serve your people. You know what I'm saying?
And I think over time, people have, the term community servant has greatly been mutated.
I hate that word, community activist.
Well, no, when I say community servant, because that's what an elected official is supposed to be, is a community servant. When these positions were started, when government and everything was forming in this country, it was looked at as almost like jury duty. You had people who were business owners that would say, okay, I'm gonna do something good for the community and go run for office and serve. It wasn't this glamorous thing. It was, we're going here to do the work to try to, mold and structure law in society. And then, that's why they had, that's why they didn't really do term limits.
But that's what we get from speed dating people.
Yeah.
We need to start putting people in office that we know through our whole lives.
Well, I think also too, it needs to be more of a process to where it's more of a vetting process.
Yeah.
If you go by Chad Tha Goodfella, so I know that you're familiar with rules of like the mafia.
Right.
You can't become a made man and they haven't vetted you.
Right.
And when they vet you, they vet your whole bloodline.
Right.
And we got to see who your great grandfather was and who came off the boat with them, and all of these things. I think in our community, in the black community, we don't do enough vetting with people. We just kind of let them gain a certain level of popularity, and then they're promoted to these different positions.
We don't come out and vote neither, because they win in these seats with a couple hundred votes.
This is true.
We don't trust the political people. So we just feel like if you live in Zion City, you live in Glen Oaks, Dixie, Bank, Scholar, and all these areas, these people have no hope for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
So telling them to vote, they don't feel like
for what?
Yeah.
The people who do get in office don't do nothing for us. You know, they don't do nothing. Why are you telling me to go vote when the guy that I'm gonna vote for gonna end up like this guy, who only in office for his own personal gain? Let's be honest. You know, a councilman make what, $12,000-$15,000 a year? So what are you in this for? And now we going up against a guy who trying to get his own grants? How you sitting council? What you even doing announcing a program like that to a community?
What it's and if that's what he's doing, if he's trying to get his own grants, then that definitely seems like a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
because
that's a conflict
it
of
seems
interest.
like you're using your public position. To
fund your own programs.
Right.
You know, and you know it's not gonna work, and then you using the data of our work. The same company the same nonprofit that he tried to discredit, it's the same nonprofit or the data that you took, so make it make sense. You saying Safe Hope and Healthy was a failed nonprofit. How? When I'm a product of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So has he produced where he got his data from?
No, because he don't know where he got it from, and he don't care.
So
because these the people in the office, and the reason why I say this is because, look, for decades, if you do your research, this funding has been around for decades.
Right.
But it's been people like that have been getting it. And what they do, they all they got to do is produce paperwork and saying that they doing it.
But they disseminate it in their own way. Right.
And we ain't never seen these people. Zion City 100 years old. We just starting to get our first everything. For about 2 years, Zion City has got their first all kind of things that's been going on. Back to school drives, Christmas events, you know, our own meetings. You know, Zion City finally got a voice at these tables where they putting it in programs, you know. And he took credit for the fact that the past year or two, the murder rate has dropped. The murder rate has been almost 0 to none in Zion City. But it have been like 1 or 2 murders, but
it's not what it was.
It's nowhere near what it was. But that's because the community.
Yeah, that's...
The community. You got people like Mad Marvin who say, hey, man, don't do that here. And they gonna listen.
Right.
Me, you know, Foots, Matt, Clyde. Like, man, it's so many people. I really didn't want to get the names because it's so many, the community fixing the community.
So does Darryl Hurst have any kind of connection with any of the people that you just named?
He had one. We gave him a fair chance.
But I'm talking about currently.
I doubt it. No, we don't see him. The only community meeting that Darryl Hurst came to in Zion City, we put together, Safe Hope and Healthy.
And when was that?
With partnerships of the Zion City community. That was over a year ago, when we was trying to see about what can we do to help come in and build a stronger partnership. So what Safe Hope and Healthy created was partnerships with the community, the people in the community. That's why every event we did, we allowed somebody from the community to host it.
Right.
And I'm just talking about Zion City, but we could go to Sherwood when we did our community events. We partnership with Bezo and them. He's a big rapper in Zion, in Sherwood, and he owns his community. Like, his community listen to him. And he brought some other guys with the influence of the community in too, and we was able to partnership with them and do this big event in Sherwood. You know, we could go to Easy Town with Dana, who's a big influence in Zion City.
Right.
I keep saying Zion City. Easy Town.
I got it.
And we went in partnership with her in the Easy Town community.
Right.
See, we not for the me show. When we do these events, we try to find who got the biggest influence on the streets to go in these communities.
You're looking to put tangible points on the board.
Yeah.
Not cosmetic, just name recognition.
Because what's the sense of having a big event and you trying to stop the violence, but ain't nobody there who causing the violence? You can't reach the people who really doing the violence. When we do stuff, the guys who doing it, they there. They
Right.
helping sometimes.
Because you all have built that relationship and that connection.
We
with
provide
them.
police for the events and everything. And it also gives them a chance to see the police and be like, man, this cop ain't so bad.
Right.
You know, and this cop will tell them, look, man, we suspect what you're doing. You better stop it. We coming. So if they go to jail, they can't say, oh, the police were just harassing me. No, they told you. They gave you a fair warning.
Right.
You got a chance to come face to face.
And with that warning, they're also giving them a chance to change.
Get your life together. We coming.
Right.
You know, because it's, man, bro, we done the police. Policing ain't gonna stop crime because police not crime fighters.
Well, on top of that, people have to understand that crime is not a product of lack of police. Crime is a product of lack of opportunity,
And
lack of resources, and lack of knowledge of even understanding. Like you said, you seem to be a very intelligent person. You know, this is the first time that we've met in person. But before we started filming, we talked about the books that we were reading. And even though you said on here on this platform that, you know, 7th grade education, but you bettered yourself and you became, you know, this version of yourself. But that took a, you know, that, like you said, that took a lot. When the environment that you're in, if this is normal, then you don't know that there's a whole world out there that's completely different from this neighborhood that you reside in.
Right.
So when they grow up and they see, you know, if they don't have access to the resources, but access to just understanding the world outside of this. And that's where you guys come in at, because you also seem like you're a pretty well-traveled person.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you bring these experiences back to that neighborhood and back to these kids and let them know, hey, look, I was just over in wherever I was vacationing at, and it's beautiful here, and it's this, and they don't have this, this, and this. This is just here.
Some of these kids ain't been in New Orleans. They ain't been on Canal Street.
Right.
That'll be like New York to them. And I know how they feel because, I mean, in the summertime, me and my parents, we traveled to Houston, to Astroworld.
Mm-hmm.
But we traveled and came back. You know, and the thing is, bro, is they design this for failure, right? Because when a veteran, and we seeing, and the reason why I bring up the veterans, because we seeing a lot of things that they doing right now to the same country that they served.
Right.
You know, so when somebody sign up and go to active war, when he come back, he diagnosed with what is
PTSD.
PTSD. We in a war zone.
Yeah.
We in a war zone in the hood. To grow up in the hood and violence, your house is getting shot up.
Yeah.
Gunshots all night. This and that. You don't think you something in your brain?
It's the exact same thing. And as you getting older, I mean, even when I went to college and I met people from just different neighborhoods, and you know, being down, a lot of my friends, like they were like from New Jersey, they were from all over the place. When you go to college, like you said, when your son goes to college, he's going to meet people from all different walks of life. And some of my friends are from New Jersey, from Chicago, and you know, they didn't even really know what crickets were at night.
Yeah.
They hear that, they're like, what is that? Like, you've never heard a cricket at night.
Right.
But when you live in, you know, the concrete jungle, they don't have crickets.
You in survival mode.
Right. So it's a completely different thing. So
you're gonna take.
Yeah.
My new friends, a lot of my real friends now, they not from the streets. I still got friends in the streets, but the people I hang out with every day, they graduated from Stanford. My best friend graduated from Stanford. But he come from the hood.
Right.
He come from, but he got out through ball sports and stuff. His way of thinking is a whole different way of me thinking. You know, the only thing we share together is our morals, principles, and integrity. But his friends, and when I go around, you know, but when you grow up in survival mode, man, it's not even a privilege to have the thought process that a lot of guys who went to college and got out of their community to have, you know, because every day you trying to survive, you trying to make it, you know.
Well, it's a difference in living a day-to-day life and living where I'm planning to do this next week.
Right.
The guys that are in these neighborhoods, they thinking about today.
They think about hour for hour.
Right. They not thinking about, so next month if I save, I can do. They not that's not the
I
mentality.
don't even know if I'm gonna make it next month. Seems long.
So and that's why people like you and the coalition that you've built are important, because you guys can actually touch them, feel them, but also present tangible things to them.
Right.
So it is very disheartening when you say, elected officials like Councilman Hurst is not really present there, but they're using the data, they're using the hard work to, and let me say this too. Councilman Hurst is welcome to come on the program if he wants to dispute it.
Facts.
We can definitely
I'll
bring him
come
on.
back.
I can facilitate it where we can have a panel discussion. He is more than welcome to come on this platform, because I don't believe in closing the doors. If you are here telling a story, and you're telling your perspective. If he has a different perspective, and he says one thing, you say the other thing, and then the truth meets in the middle. So I have no problem with Councilman Hurst coming on.
That's why it went viral though, because somebody called me. They was like, "Man, this the first time in history they ever seen people who they try to call gang members, because they try to allege Marvin as a gang member,
Right.
Dice, all them. This the first time hood niggas was arguing with a sitting person of council about who stopped the murders. You see how you break the chains?
Yeah.
Because these guys posted, you see, like, they was posting too, like, man, why you come here lying, talking about you stopping the violence? We stopping the violence.
Right.
We responsible for the murder rate being low.
Well, the truth, the thing about this is, and this is the journalist in me, the truth is important.
Right.
Facts are important.
Right.
So, some people might be saying, well, what difference does it make? It makes a difference,
It makes a
because
big difference.
if you're taking credit for something that you didn't do, and then it propels you to something else, we're going to expect you to be able to do this somewhere else. It's almost like when you was a kid and you look in the back of the math book and get the answers. You can finish your homework and turn it in that day, but then when the test comes, you don't know how A equals Z. You don't know how A plus 3 equals Z.
And why would you discredit a program that's really was work? The proof is in the pudding. You know.
Well,
what
especially if you're
for
community,
your own financial gain. Why?
Well, if you're a community serving worth your salt, you should be more concerned about doing right by your
Right.
community, as opposed to just holding elected.
Yeah, trying to for your own personal gain.
Right.
And I don't like that. I don't. The thing is, man, when I go to these other cities, and like I lived in Houston for a few years. You meet the city councils and stuff, and I'm not saying that they clean or whatever. I can't take up for that, but a lot of these other guys got their own resources. They already rich, wealthy. They not fighting a starving community over funding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which a lot of these guys, if you go talk to them about stuff that they got going on, they was nothing without these seats.
But that also goes back to what I was saying earlier about, you had business people, when all this first started, they looked at it like it's really community service.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna do this, and then when they would that's why they didn't have term limits. They would just go and do it for 2, 3, 4 years or whatever,
Right.
and then they go back to their life. They weren't looking to make a career out of this. They
Right.
weren't looking to just hold elected office just because.
Right.
So that goes into the vetting process. So one needs to ask too, before Councilman Hurst was a councilman, what was he?
Right.
What did he do?
What community did you serve? How did you fall into work?
Well, even aside from community work, what level of success did you have in the private sector?
Right.
These things are important because, like you brought up, a council person only makes, $15 grand a
Right.
year. So, it's not like you're in it, you're trying to obtain money from this position. It's something else there.
Right.
You have other aspirations,
Right.
and this is a springboard. So, but it is important. Like, what did you do before you got this seat? Why was this important for you to have?
Right.
Is it really about the community, or are you trying to springboard into something else? So if you don't know what real, if your goal is financial success in the end, and you've never achieved that in the private sector, and now you have a title, then you kind of see where I'm going with this. It feels like, okay, this is clearly you trying to springboard into something, but someone else, if you've had a certain level of success, if professionally, whatever, if you've done things already, you've already achieved certain things. You're not getting into this for the money.
Right.
You're getting into it because you really want to
I
serve your
want to help
community.
my community. I'm already successful.
Right.
I already got multiple streams of income.
Right. But
My
that go.
child don't live in Zion City. He is never gonna see the effects. I mean, my parents live in Zion City, but they didn't want to leave. They went back.
Right. They have
You know,
roots.
yeah, my whole family. I got cousins. My brother, like Zion City is my family.
Right.
I could walk up and down the streets. I could go to different people's houses. You know, I grew up with these guys in the streets. I mean, we got history together.
Right.
You know, I could leave. I haven't lived in Zion City in decades. You know what I'm saying? I got a good job, side businesses. You know, I'm well off. I don't. Nothing in Zion City is gonna give me financial gain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But yet.
I want to help my community.
Right.
Like I don't want my family and friends and stuff to have to move. I want to help them help us all build our community up and show people. That's where generational wealth come from.
Right.
If we talking finances, what's so different? You ever been in Glen Oaks?
Yeah.
The houses in Glen Oaks are better than the houses off District Garden District.
Absolutely. Because and not only structural wise,
They bigger,
but just
they stronger.
and character wise.
Right.
If you notice how they build houses in these new neighborhoods they're forming, everything looks the exact same.
Right, but you know the difference, the mentality.
Yeah.
Because the Garden District, those houses $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and the square footage ain't nowhere near a house in Glen Oaks.
Right.
You know, but the mentality, the neighborhood ran down.
Yeah.
So you got the houses in Glen Oaks maybe worth $100,000. You talking about
When they should be on the market for the
1,700, 1,800 square foot houses.
Right.
You know, and then you got houses in the Garden District, maybe 1,000 square foot, 1,200, $350,000.
Yeah.
You know, it's because they took care of their neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, in Baton Rouge, we don't have a functioning black neighborhood. You know, if you go to other communities in Houston, Austin, Phoenix, stuff like that where I've been, they got functioning neighborhoods.
Right.
They shop in their neighborhood. They do everything in their neighborhood. They barely leave out their neighborhood.
Right. Because everything they need is right there,
Everything they need,
including security.
including security. We don't even have a healthy place to eat. So you gotta eat chicken or whatever you putting in your mind. You know?
Then if you want something healthy, you have to go outside the
I
neighborhood.
learned that when I went on my health kick.
And
You
then,
know,
but
I
then the
lost over
resources
100 and
are
something
now
pounds.
leaving the neighborhood that you reside in.
Right. So you gotta leave the neighborhood.
Wait, you said how much you lost?
Over 100 and something pounds.
I didn't realize you was bigger than
Yeah,
what
I
you.
used to be 304, 300 and something pounds.
Hey,
Yeah.
you ain't going to health kick. You want a health karate kick.
I did it for mental reasons.
Right.
You know, I work out every day for mental reasons. It helps keep my anger down.
Right.
You know, it helps keep me calm. No matter how much negative energy you put into working out, you're gonna get positive results.
Yep. My homeboy Johnny Hustle said that's why he works out.
We work out together.
Okay.
He was with me when I started my journey.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But he said that's. A lot of people think he does it just for physical reasons,
Yeah.
but you know, he told me, he said, no, that's his
Yeah,
therapy.
he a good dude.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny, he helped me support a lot of my stuff in Zion City too. He been in there when I did my workout event on 4th Street at the Mackey Center.
Big shout out Johnny Hustle.
Yeah, Johnny, yeah, he a big supporter. We support each other.
Yeah.
You
So moving forward, you know, because we have identified, you know, not only what you're doing, but what other people are not doing. What does it look like for you as far as moving forward, continuing to getting things done, but getting things done in a more productive way? You know, not to say that you've already been productive, but what I'm saying is, you know, we've discussed that this is an issue where you have people trying to take credit for things, and it's not that you want credit, it's just that you want resources that are coming in to be delegated for what they're supposed to be used for. So what does it look like for you moving forward?
Well, what it looked like for me, these next 4 years, man. So the biggest roadblocks and speed bumps you run across with helping your community is the people that was put in place to help your community. I'm gonna be honest with you. They don't care. You know, it gotta be a show for them. And if everything ego driven.
Mm-hmm.
So my next 4 years is educating my community why it's important to vote, why it's really important. And I just started voting 2 years ago, so I just learned what your district councilman can help you with,
right.
Your mayor can help you with, your Senate, on your state representative, all these people, not even talking about the president, talking about the stuff we can really control right here in Baton Rouge.
Well, like they say, all politics are local.
Yeah.
So, and that's what people have to really focus in on,
Your judges,
Right. Judges are important.
So it's me just trying to get my people to understand that the power is really in voting. A lot of people try to, we was talking about how they try to, before the camera was on, we was talking about how they try to downplay a lot of black powerful people that you found out through books and stuff. I feel like that they highlight the wrong speech that Martin Luther King gave.
They do, because I think I know what speech you're talking about.
The one where he said, forgive me for I led my people into a burning building.
Yeah, and he also said, don't.
Talking about give us the voting rights, give us our own banking, give us our own land, etc. That was one of the most powerful speeches. That was the speech that got him killed.
And we're right on the cusp of another Martin Luther King Day, and I say this every year. I'm always disappointed when I see community activities, because I see like a lot of people saying we're doing community cleanups in honor of Dr. King, and I said, was he a custodian? I don't remember him marching, in the street with a broom.
Could they get government grants to do that?
Well, and I also feel like it waters down what he really stood for.
It's easy to do. It's something to go in the community for an hour or two, take a photo op and leave.
Yeah, if we really want to honor Dr. King, the thing that we should be doing is revisiting the things that he talked about, which is, equity of life, which is, look at all the redlining that still goes on. Look at how gerrymandered has messed up districts and everything. Look at how, like you said, we have elected officials that are taking advantage of, communities where they know it's going to be a low voter turnout. So I'm going to just kind of play on this side over here, and then I'll be able to maneuver my way in for my own, 100%. Good. So these are the things that if we want to honor Dr. King, that he wouldn't stand for.
Right.
People have to remember at the time he was assassinated, he wasn't very popular.
Right.
And from his own people.
Right.
I can remember, and my dad told me about this, how, growing up, people would be saying, oh man, he causing so much trouble. I'm good in the back of the bus.
Right.
We got it good enough as it is.
Right.
They couldn't even see past the fact that you're allowing yourself to be violated, because what's in the Constitution? No taxation without representation, right? But they were being misrepresented. If you're not getting equal rights, but you still having to pay your taxes,
right?
That's taxation without representation. So even with, like you said, with Zion City and Dixie in these areas, if the councilman, which again, he is welcome to come on this program, if he's not truly representing that, that's taxation without representation too. So, one way, I guess, to get through to people about voting, because like we said, I mean, low voter turnout is just
horrible.
It's turned to almost an epidemic.
Yeah.
We got to be able to connect it to what they understand and what's important. Taxation without representation. You paying taxes anyway. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you ain't never filed a W-2 or nothing like that. When you go
pay them taxes.
When you go to the store, you paying taxes. And the governor just raised the sales tax in this state.
And they got to understand that prison is a business.
This is a business.
Crime is a business.
Yeah.
So what we was able to do through the community, I don't think a lot of them really wanted that to happen. We was able to prove that, hey, the community can fix the community.
Yeah.
And it don't take long, so.
But if they can control the narrative.
If they could control the narrative, then they could still control everything that go on.
So what I'm going to do then, just right now while we're on camera, moving forward, if you need our help or services or anything, media-wise, we there.
We need them platforms. That's why I appreciate you reaching out, letting me come on here.
You got it on camera. You got it on audio. I've said that we will help. So me and you'll have more conversations, off camera. But, even if it's just tools to help educate people on why voting is important. I know you said you're getting into that to try to get, the next 4 years, you want people to understand why voting is important. Well, media plays a big part in that. So Mad Game will be there for you.
Right.
All right. I've said it on camera, so I've committed myself. I can't back out now. I can't back out.
Hold you accountable too, bro.
Please hold me accountable.
And hold me accountable to anything, cause we gotta unify, bro.
And look, you know where I'm at, so you can pull up on me and be like, hey, you know what you said now, so you can pull up on me.
We gotta unify because one person can't do it.
No, it can't.
You need groups and groups. I would like to see 100 men get together, 50 men, 75 men, and celebrate each other and get rid of the egos and say, what are we gonna do? What fearless men who's not afraid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, man, this what we gonna do, and we gotta do what we gotta do for our community. Because one person can't do it. They can lock me up, take me out, do whatever, and what happens? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, we gotta get together and just realize, and it's gonna be better for the city. Cause if what's Baton Rouge population of blacks? But if the minorities don't have the money or they're afraid to go out and spend, then what they do for the economy?
Well, that's basically apartheid. When you're the majority, but you don't hold the power.
Right. And then the black people in office scared of using the power.
Or being used as tools.
Right.
Trojan horses.
Right.
And we know the story of a Trojan horse.
Right. So.
I'm gonna leave that there though.
Yeah. But that's what we facing in life, bro.
Okay. Well, again, like I said, I'm committing myself to helping out with the next 4 years, next 4 years and beyond. To be honest with you, we're not gonna put a cap on it. Whatever we can do to help educate people about voting or any other kind of media tool that can be used at your disposal. Again, I've committed myself. You have a record of it. I'm on camera saying this. So if I come back and be like, I ain't say that, you can come back and play it. Whatever mark this is at, you can come back. Nah, remember you said this, and I was raised to be a man of my word.
Yeah. So
I'm saying it on camera for a reason, so you know that I'm serious. Do you have any last words before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. Just you can reach me at Chad _Tha Goodfella on Instagram. Or you could call my number, man, 225-349-2019. If you a mother, cousin, uncle, whatever, and you know a kid that's headed down the wrong path, man, call me, man. I'm pulling up. Let's talk about it.
Cool. Chad the Goodfella, I appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate you, brother.
Don't forget, you're either at the table or you're on the menu. We out.